Stepping into the Silk Road is like stepping into your comfort zone. The rooms are bright, they're inviting, and warm. Everything is in perfect order, items arranged neatly on their shelves, waiting to tell their stories. And every item has a unique story to tell. Everything in the Silk Road is unique, from the baby clothes to the kitchenware to home decor. All of it was crafted by hand, most made in a country far away from their new Western PA home. I sat down with the owner of Silk Road, Wendy Farmerie, to talk about fair trade and her Market Street shop. Could you explain fair trade briefly?
Fair trade means that the artisans are paid fair wages, they get safe working conditions, the artisans get paid upfront, and there's actually like women's empowerment programs. There's women who set up their own businesses through fair trade. There's programs that get kids off the streets into schools, like the seed bead jewelry is actually out of Colombia, and it works primarily with street children. So they string beads half the day, and then they actually get an education half the day, so they're still getting money while being educated. And that's one of the big things about fair trade is we're trying not just to help with income, but to also help with raising up.
So it seems fair trade isn't about the sale. It's what happens because of the sale, helping make the global community better.
So a lot of these programs, they're building hospitals, they're building schools, they're building safe drinking water systems, roadways, things like that.
And the money spent at Silk Road does indeed go out into the world.
No more than half ever comes here. Usually it's a lot less than that. You can pretty much plan on, I think it's around 30% goes directly back to the cooperative. And honestly, when I buy directly, there's quite a few programs I have where I buy directly. So they're getting 50%, 55%.
So half the money from any purchase is funding, not the shop, but the artisans abroad who put a bit of themselves into their work. They come from countries as far away as India and as close as Mexico. There is even a few items from Afghanistan.
I have jewelry now, as well as a purse that comes from there. And it actually helps women who have been, I don't know if you've heard the stories of the beatings and acid being thrown on women. There's been a lot of violence towards women, and the women are actually left handicapped, and they're left in a position where they can't physically hold a job. So they're finding something that they can do in their homes to make some income.
With struggling countries like Afghanistan on the buying list, getting in contact and finding the items is not an easy job. Wendy must make sure that everyone she buys from is a certified fair trade member before contacting each seller. Usually that job alone takes hours.
In an average weekend, I probably spend 6 or 7 hours just searching on the internet, trying to make sure, because there's a lot of places out there that I think are really cool, but then when you look further, I'll see an item like I buy at the price that I sell it for. So that tells me that they're a wholesaler. And then the search, if there's something I really like, the search begins for me to try to find the cooperative. So I'm constantly trying to cut out the middle layers so that I can sell things to my customers at a reasonable price.
Right. So you're in direct contact with the businesses in other countries. What's that like?
It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Like right now I'm working with Haiti, so I'll actually call them on the phone and I'll send them emails back and forth.
Ever have a language barrier?
No.
No?
No. You would be surprised how many people speak English. Like that's pretty much the norm anymore. Everybody speaks English.
That's so weird. Do you get to know certain people?
Yeah. My guy from Haiti sent me a picture. I didn't ask for it, but I got it. Which was actually good because I thought he was a girl. His name is Jude. No, you really do get to know him, and they get to know you as well.
But you don't have to call Haiti or any of the countries to learn the stories. Just like the people who make them, every item in the Silk Road has a story to tell.
Of the sterling jewelry. Most of the sterling silver jewelry comes from Nepal, and there's a lot of internal, I don't want to say struggling, there's a lot of violence right now. So what they actually are doing is they're going into the outlying regions of the country, into the regions that have a lot of the conflict where people's safety is most endangered. And they're getting teenage boys, giving them the opportunity to move to Kathmandu where it's safe. And again, they learn silversmithing half the day, and then they get an education half the day.
From jewelry to toys to handbags to hand-carved nativities, it's hard not to fall in love with a favorite piece of art. And that is what every item for sale is. A piece of art.
I had a piece of wall art that was very similar. They're batiks, so they actually start with a white piece of fabric and they apply a dye. They start with wax, so any place that they want it to remain white, they apply wax, and then they submerge it in dye, and then they apply more wax, and then they submerge it again in the dye, and then they apply, like each color is a separate submerging. And depending on what color it is, because you can see on the one on the wall, some of those, like the red, you probably can't get the red if you've already put it in the yellow and the green and whatever. Right. So what they'll actually do is if they want it to be red and a true red, they'll wax everything but, say, the green. and they'll put it in the green. And then they'll take the wax off, reapply wax everywhere but the orange, and then they'll put it in the orange. And you can see on that one, see on the white how you see little spider webs of red? They crack the wax there before they put it in the red. And then they remove all the wax. And I had one that was 5 dancing ladies that just made me laugh hysterically because they had little motion marks on their hips and their hands were in the air, so you could just see them dancing. That was my favorite item.
The world is becoming smaller. Every day, every year, every century, it shrinks just a little more. The Silk Road Market was named for the Silk Road trading route developed in the 1st century. Then, the route traveled from China to places as far as Greece and Italy. Traders trekked the miles, sharing art and culture. Now the centuries-old route is alive again in New Wilmington, Pennsylvania, making the global community a little more local and helping those in need. I'm Dana Kerkentzes for Titan Radio News.